Okay, let's talk about that tangle of wires behind the TV. You've probably been there, right? You've got the game console, maybe a couple of streaming boxes, a Blu-ray player, and you want them all hooked up, maybe even going to two different screens without constantly swapping cables or creating that wire spaghetti monster. It's frustrating. So how do you actually manage all those HD signals elegantly? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We're looking closely at one specific piece of kit. The WolfPack 4K 30Hz 4x2 HDMI Matrix Router with ARC comes from HDTV Supply.
Right. And our mission here really is to break down what this thing is, what it does, and maybe more importantly, why it could be a real game changer for you if you're looking to streamline your setup. We're talking about upgrading your video, your audio connections. And this isn't just, a simple splitter. It's about smart routing, some advanced features.
Okay, let's unpack that. A 4x2 HDMI Matrix Router. What's the basic idea? How is it different from, say, a simple HDMI switch most people might have seen?
Yeah, good question. A basic switch is usually one-to-one. You pick an input, it goes to your TV. Simple. But a matrix, specifically a 4x2 like this one, means you have 4 inputs, your sources, like a console, Blu-ray, whatever, and you have 2 outputs, say 2 TVs or a TV and a projector. The matrix part, the real superpower, is that you can send any of those 4 inputs to either of the 2 outputs independently.
Independently. So like input 1 could go to TV A and input 3 could go to TV B at the same time.
Exactly. Or input 1 could go to both TV A and TV B. Or input 2 to TV A and input 4 to TV B. Any combination. It's basically a central hub, like a traffic controller, for all your HDMI stuff. You get total control over where the signals go.
That routing flexibility sounds really powerful. So it's not just splitting, it's actual like smart management. Can you give a quick real-world example? How might someone use that day to day?
Oh, definitely. Imagine you've got your main living room TV, but also maybe a smaller TV in the den or a bedroom. You could be playing your game console, which is plugged into the Matrix, on the main TV, while someone else in the den is watching Netflix from a streaming stick plugged into the same Matrix, but routed to the second TV.
Ah, okay. No fighting over the inputs?
Precisely. Or maybe you have a fancy 4K projector for movie nights, but just a regular 1080p TV for casual viewing. You can route the 4K Blu-ray player to the projector and maybe your cable box to the 1080p TV, all managed centrally. It covers a surprising number of scenarios, especially when you look at the specific visual capabilities of this WolfPack unit. So resolution-wise, it handles HDTV resolutions right up to 4K by 2K. It's a 3K40 by 2160 at 30 Hz.
30 hertz. Is that enough these days with new consoles?
That's a fair point. While gaming often pushes higher, 4K at 30 Hz is still very common for movies, streaming content, Blu-rays. It covers a huge amount of the high-res stuff you'll be watching. And here's a really neat bit. It's flexible with resolutions. It can upscale 1080p video to 4K 30 Hz.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, great if you've got older content, but a 4K screen. And, maybe even more useful, it can downscale 4K 30 Hz video to 1080p.
Okay, that makes sense for the scenario with the 4K projector and the 1080p TV.
Exactly. And make sure everything works regardless of the display. Takes the headache out of it. And naturally, it supports all the standards, 480p, 720p, 1080p, 1080i. Plus, for visuals, it also handles 3D content, if you still use that, and supports 16-bit deep color.
Deep color. That just means more colors, right? Better picture.
Essentially, yes. Instead of millions, you're talking billions of colors. It gives you smoother gradients, more lifelike images. You really notice it in like dark scenes or colorful nature documentaries. And importantly for modern TVs, it's compatible with the big HDR standards high dynamic range. We're talking Dolby Vision, HDR10 plus A's, and HLG, hybrid log gamma.
HDR, that's the brighter brights, darker darks thing.
That's the gist of it. Much wider range of brightness and color, making the picture really pop. More detail, more contrast. It gets you closer to what the director intended. Now, shifting to audio. The name mentions ARC. That's Audio Return Channel.
Right, ARC. I've seen that on TVs. What does it mean here?
It's super handy. It means audio generated by your TV, maybe from its built-in Netflix app or its antenna tuner, can travel backwards down the same HDMI cable that's going to the TV from the Matrix. That audio can then go out for the Matrix to your soundbar or AV receiver.
So you don't need a separate optical audio cable from the TV back to the sound system?
Exactly. It cleans up the wiring significantly. One less cable to worry about. It's a really elegant solution.
That is elegant. I know people who struggle with getting TV app audio to their soundbars.
Yeah, ARC simplifies that massively. And this Matrix also has dedicated audio outputs for even more flexibility, beyond just ARC. Sound quality-wise, it supports the good stuff. HD lossless audio, things like 7.1 channel LPCM that's uncompressed digital audio plus Dolby True HD and DTS HD master audio.
So basically the best sound formats from Blu-rays and high-end streaming.
You got it. You're getting the full, uncompromised audio experience. Connectivity, we covered the basics. 4 HDMI inputs, 2 HDMI outputs. It runs on a 3 Gbps bandwidth per channel, which is plenty for that 4K 30 Hz signal. Another key feature is EDI management. EDI, that stands for Extended Display Identification Data.
EDI sounds technical. Why should I care about that?
Think of it like a quick, polite chat between your Blu-ray player and your TV or your console and your projector, all managed by the Matrix. They automatically tell each other what resolutions, what audio formats, what features they support. The Matrix helps them find the best settings that work for both.
So it prevents those annoying no-signal screens or the wrong resolution showing up.
Exactly. It smooths out the compatibility issues. It aims for a plug-and-play experience by handling those negotiations. You can even tweak it with internal or external EDI settings if you need advanced control, but usually automatic is fine.
That sounds pretty seamless. So despite all these features, getting it running isn't too intimidating.
Generally, no. That ED management does a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
For controlling which input goes where, you've got buttons right on the unit itself. And it comes with an IR remote control. Handy thing is, it uses discrete codes.
Discrete codes? Meaning
There's a specific button for input 1 to output A, another for input 2 to output B, and so on. You don't have to cycle through inputs, you can just jump directly. Makes switching faster. Oh, and it's also backward compatible with older DVI-D sources if you happen to have any of those lying around. Adds a bit of extra flexibility.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. For you, the listener, trying to maybe level up your home setup, what are the real takeaways here? What problems does this WolfPack Matrix actually solve? Well, number one is definitely simplified wiring. Less clutter, no more spaghetti junction behind the gear. That's huge. Number two, that seamless switching. No more unplugging and replugging. Hit a button on the remote, and you switch from your game console to your streaming box instantly. Much less friction. And number three, which is maybe the most important, it helps ensure you're getting the best picture and sound quality your gear can deliver. That automatic handling of resolution, the support for HDR, lossless audio, it optimizes things. Especially if you have, say, a mix of 4K and 1080p displays. It just makes everything work together better. It removes the frustration, lets you just enjoy the content.
And it's maybe worth mentioning the company behind it briefly. HDTV Supply, they've been around for, 24 years now, since 2002. Google Shopping rates them as an exceptional, top-quality store, and they seem to pride themselves on support and fast delivery, which is good to know.
Right. Reliability matters with this kind of core equipment.
Definitely. And WolfPack is their own registered trademark. They're also an HDBase2.org approved adopter, so they're involved in industry standards. This particular model, the HDTV 42A 4K, is listed at $75. Pretty accessible price point for this level of control.
So summing up, the WolfPack 4K 30Hz 4x2 HDMI Matrix Router with ARC. It's a compact box, but it's packed with features. It's designed to be the central manager for your HDMI devices, giving you that intelligent routing, advanced video and audio support like ARC and HDR, and making it easy to use. It puts you back in control, simplifies the complexity.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with, it kind of raises an interesting question, doesn't it? How can just one well-chosen piece of hardware like this, something often hidden away, actually reshape your whole experience with your home entertainment? Not just for the gear you have today, but potentially for new devices and formats down the road. It makes you think about those crucial, but often invisible, components that make all the fancy screens and speakers actually work together smoothly. That behind-the-scenes tech really matters.